welcome to my How to Be a YouTuber panel. So in this panel, I'm basically telling you everything I wish I knew before I started YouTube. Things like internet safety, and how copyright works, and how monetization works. I am a hobbyist YouTuber, and I also really just want to show you guys what YouTube can look like for a regular person who is not rich, who is not famous, who is just having a fun time. YouTube can be a very fulfilling, very enjoyable hobby to have. And I want to give that perspective and some tools so that you can go into starting your YouTube channel feeling prepared. But first, a little bit about me. I'm Colleen.cosplay, and I run the Colleen Cosplay YouTube channel. So I started my channel back in 2018. I've been doing this for a little while, and as you might be able to guess from the channel name, I do cosplay. So most of my content is tutorials, teaching people how to make costumes like the one I'm wearing right now. And I also talk a bit about adaptive costume design, accessibility, what it's like being a wheelchair user who cosplays. And I just passed 29K subs on YouTube, which is really cool. And I feel like I have a size of channel that's like really achievable for a lot of people. I'm not some big name that seems unreachable. I think a lot of people could, if they wanted to, have a channel like this. And I want to talk a bit about how I got into YouTube. And it does tie a bit into my disability story. So I was not always disabled. I actually was a very athletic kid. I did martial arts, cross country, horse riding. Then I found out that I have a progressive joint disorder that was going to get worse over time. And when you are in your like late teens, early 20s, that's just a very hard thing to go through when you find out that like all the things you'd planned for, they don't really look the same. I had to quit athletics. You know, that's actually kind of how YouTube started. Cosplay and YouTube was something I knew I'd be able to do as my disability got worse, and it was something that I felt I had control over. I could make the choice to start a YouTube channel. I was really obsessed with cosplay at the time, really obsessed with YouTube, and this was a decision I could make for myself and have control over. But the problem is I did not know how to YouTube, and even worse, I did not know how to cosplay. So I feel like I truly started from nothing. So if you have never made a video before in your life and you are interested in YouTube, it is a hobby you can get into and teach yourself. I had never filmed before. I'd never edited a video before in my life. I didn't have any graphic design experience, as you might be able to guess from the thumbnails. These are from my first two videos. You can tell that graphic design is my passion. I did not even have a Facebook or I guess a MySpace back in the day, and I used my mom's camera. I took her camera to film my first video. I wasn't very good at presenting, and as I said, the cherry on top was I didn't even really know how to cosplay. I was very passionate about cosplay. It was like all I would talk about. Everyone around me was like, she only talks about cosplay. But I did not have many cosplays of my own. I was still very much a novice. But I just wanted to start a YouTube channel. I wanted to see if I could do this, and I did. And while my initial motivation was unfortunately a bit of a coping mechanism, my motivation has really changed since then. I opened up and started talking a little bit about what it's like to have a progressive disability and do costuming, and it's just created such an amazing supportive community where we can talk about how to like adapt costumes, how you can make things work for you in like whatever life is throwing at you. So I now have over 400 videos on my channel. I am a cosplay guest here at FanFest, and I will be judging the cosplay contest later. I hope to see you guys there. And I am monetized on YouTube. We will get to that later on like how much I actually make from YouTube. But bottom line is it is still like a hobby for me. I still work a corporate desk job. I still work like a job as well. It doesn't make that much. And YouTube is just fun. This is something I just really, really enjoy doing. I would recommend that if you want to do YouTube, you find your why. And for me, it was building that community, being able to talk about adaptive costuming, and just the enjoyment of video production. I would not recommend starting a channel if you want fame, money, or power, because most likely you are not going to get those things immediately. I see way too many people rushing in to start a channel being like, I'm gonna make like loads of money by next week, and it just doesn't work like that. And then I see these people burning out and giving up because they were only in it for, you know, the money. So good reasons is you want to help others, you want to learn. I actually learned cosplay so fast by teaching others. When you teach people, you learn a lot yourself. But you're just passionate about a topic you want to share, or you just enjoy making videos. Like, that is a perfectly fine reason to start a channel. I'm sorry, this part of the presentation's a bit of a downer, but we need to talk about internet safety. This is something I really, really wish I had taken more seriously when I started. So just some obvious things, knowing what you can show in your videos. If you're posting stuff publicly online, like, I'm sorry, but there are bad people out there, and in the same way that you would want a helmet when you play football, I feel like you should have some safety in place when you are online. You should know a bit about how to stay safe. So of course you don't want to show things like, you know, your address, maybe your legal name, or credit card numbers, you know, be careful what you put online. Another thing I'd recommend thinking about at the start is what you want people to call you, so you can keep that consistent from the very first video. If you don't want people calling you by your legal name, come up with some other name. Also highly recommend having a separate email for your YouTube channel, not just like for that privacy, but also because I just get a lot of spam. Like, people will pick up this email off of my channel page, and like, I just get so much spam. And a lot of this, it's stuff you wouldn't think about. I definitely recommend having another person check your videos before you post them. Things like the barcodes on your packages, people could scan those, I've heard. Or even just things like, I've seen videos where people are vlogging and they're like, oh, I'm running late to the con, but it's a good thing because I only live 15 minutes away. It's like, well, you've just told everyone who sees this video like where you live within a mile radius, you know? So just having an extra set of eyes. I also have a story behind this as well. So I'm gonna go really brief. I do have the full story on my YouTube, and it's 40 minutes long, so you get like the summary here. I see a lot of people thinking that if they do not have a lot of subscribers, they're safe, that no one can hurt them, no one's gonna come for them because, oh, I'm just a tiny little channel. But I would actually believe the opposite is true, because when you don't have a lot of subscribers, they own your comment section. Like, I would have videos and I'd only have one comment. That gives these people a lot of power to be the only comment, the only message. So I had a person who ended up being a bit of an online stalker. I ended up blocking them over 50 times over 2 years, and they were very interested in finding out where I lived. And I, put my foot down. I was like, no, I can't tell you. And they took that as a challenge to find out where I lived, like really picked through the videos. It escalated to like threats as well. My biggest suggestion, if you are in this situation, obviously don't be afraid to block people. I was clearly not afraid, but the other thing is you can lie. If your safety is at risk, you can lie. You can tell lies to people. I think if I had just told them a place that I could live, but I don't, it'd be good. If you're at a con like this and someone asks what hotel you're staying at, you can lie to them. If someone says, hey, do you have a friend coming? You always have a friend coming. It's okay to lie. You can lie. I know we're not supposed to, but when it comes to your safety online, that is also an option. And I just want to walk through some actual tools built into YouTube for your safety. So number one is the hide from channel feature. This is basically blocking for YouTube. Now, YouTube you can access without an account from anywhere, so you can't stop people from seeing your videos if they are listed as public, but you can stop their comments from ever being seen by another soul on earth, and that's pretty good for me. So if there is a comment you have on your channel and it says something you don't like, then you can hit the 3 dots and you can hit hide user from channel. And what that does is every comment they ever comment from their account, because you have to be signed into your account to comment, will be hidden. You will not see it, no one else will see it. This is really good for spam. If someone is like typing a comment every 3 minutes and there's like 20 of them, you can just hit this button, it will hide all of them for you. I also want to talk about the blocked words list. So this is in your settings, community moderation, blocked words, and any word you put here, it will hide the comment, it will hold the comment. If you know anyone who knows a lot of cuss words, it has a very practical use here. Find someone you know who knows a lot of bad words. That's why I have it censored here, it's a family-friendly event. And any word you don't want to be called, put it there. I'd recommend doing this before you even like really start your channel, just so it's like, do not have to worry about it. If there's a word you don't want to be called, put it there. And it doesn't just have to be cuss words. I will also put Professor X in my blocked words list. As a wheelchair user, I get these comments like, Supergirl, you should be Professor X, and after the 50-second time, it's less funny. And on your channel, you can have those boundaries. This is your house, okay? They're invited in. You can have boundaries. The very serious part of this presentation is over. Let's get to the fun stuff. I hate to have something so heavy up front, but I just want you guys to be safe if you're gonna do this. So fun part, you can choose your channel name, you can choose your branding, you can choose your videos. My only quick suggestion for channel name is to not tie it to an IP you don't own. Back in 2018, I was very obsessed with this anime called Naruto, and I was unironically considering names like Hidden Leaf Ninja Cosplay or Naruto cosplays. And as you can imagine, that could create issues later on. I'm not as obsessed with Naruto anymore. Things come, things go, and of course I don't own the IP, so that could have created issues later. So colleen.cosplay was a good choice. It's just a name. So now you're ready to make your channel, make your videos. Let's start brainstorming. So you can choose your niche, but you don't have to. So a niche would be if you want a specific topic for your channel, if you want to be a gaming channel or a makeup channel. I run a cosplay channel. And how specific do you want to be? A lot of my videos are decorating wheelchairs for costumes, which is incredibly niche. But you also don't have to have a specific channel. If you want your channel to be sharing travel videos for your grandma to see, that's a completely valid way to do YouTube. You can just make videos for your grandma, and you can also just have a channel that's just your interests. Here's my kind of channel description where I lay it out. I do tutorials, I do cosplay, I do disability. You could put me in the chronic illness niche if you like, but I would not let this cage in your creativity either or take away the joy from doing YouTube. So a few things to think about. When you do choose a niche, it does let subscribers know what to expect. When they subscribe to Colleen Cosplay, you could expect cosplay. I think it also kind of helps to network and to kind of go to brands if you want, go to conventions. They knew that I'd be a cosplay guest as Colleen Cosplay. That's my thing. And just show expertise in a specific topic. But I've also seen a lot of people get super stressed about this. I really, really love this other thing, but I can't share it online because of my niche. You can. Don't let it box you in. Don't let it stress you out. Even though I am Colleen Cosplay, I also have experimented outside my niche a little bit before. So I, last year, discovered adult doll collecting. And I still, didn't want to stray too far from cosplay. What I did is I created wheelchair costumes for dolls. And you'd think that there's no market for cosplay costumes for doll wheelchairs. There is. There is roughly a 3 million person market for cosplay costumes for doll wheelchairs. So you can also experiment, play around with things. This was wildly successful. Do what you want to do. Do what you want to do. And you might be surprised where it takes you. I also wanted to talk about the differences between shorts and long-form videos on YouTube. The YouTube platform supports both. So long-form videos, that is the landscape, and they're long, as the name implies. Short videos are ones that you usually watch on your phone, so that would be kind of like the Instagram Reels, the TikToks, YouTube Shorts, and they are, as the name implies, short videos. I believe with the recent update, 3 minutes or less can be a short now. I like to do both. I know some people who will only do long form, some people who will only do short form. There are pros and cons of both of them. The good thing about shorts is they're short. They're pretty easy to make. If you just have something you kind of want to throw out there as an idea, here is a costume, then you can do that. I also think they make really good trailers if you want to promote a longer form video. They generally get more views than long form because it's easier to convince someone to watch a 1-minute video than a 20-minute video. And you can repost to Instagram or TikTok. Actually, a lot of people are getting into YouTube lately by reposting their Instagram Reels or TikTok videos. That was a really good way to test out the platform and see how your content is received. If it's something you want to do, just take the videos you already made and post them as shorts on YouTube, see how it does. Now, the cons of shorts is they're short. So because they are so short, they can be pretty easily misunderstood or taken out of context at times. So for example, on this slide, you can't see the whole title, but it says, is it selfish to ask for accommodations? Or what if events don't make disability accommodations? Those are pretty heavy-hitting topics to cover in 60 seconds. And I found that with some of those videos, they really need a long form. A lot of people were kind of unable to really grasp the whole concept. They take it out of context. So just some things to consider. I like doing a mix of both. Do whatever makes you happy. Another thing that we're going to get to later is that shorts pay less per view than long form videos, and we'll kind of look at that dynamic when we get there. I also want to talk about how much you should post, quantity versus quality. I see a lot of people, myself included, fall into this trap of I have to post every single week, otherwise YouTube is going to completely destroy my channel and I'll never be able to have a YouTube channel again. And like, that's not true. I would recommend posting a lot when you're learning. So when I had never edited a YouTube video in my life, it really helped to post 2 times a week. And the videos weren't good. You have to be okay to be bad before you can get good. I would recommend just posting a whole bunch of stuff, and it doesn't matter if it's bad, you're learning. It's a really good learning process to make a lot. So here's me making a cosplay in 1 week, and as you can imagine, it was not my best work, but I did it. And then quality, if you know what you want to do, what you enjoy making, what you're about, then you can really focus in on making these big quality videos. So nowadays I only post once a month, and I'll make an entire costume in that video, like from start to finish. When you know what makes you happy, it's really easy to do that. But at the start, I didn't even really know what I wanted to make, like what type of videos. And I'd make something and I'd be like, I didn't really like how that felt. I didn't really like how the video turned out. So it's good to try a lot of things at the start, and now I feel like I know what I like doing, what I enjoy making. I want to talk a bit about the equipment I use because people ask, though I do feel this is a bit outdated because I see basically everyone using their phones nowadays. So I have the Canon EOS M50 that's recording right up here at the front, the Rode microphone also on this camera up here. I just use like one ring light and some natural lighting. And I edit with Wondershare Filmora, which is like a much cheaper, less fancy editing version. I don't do anything super fancy. But nowadays, I see most people just using their phones. It's amazing what quality you can get on a phone. Like, it looks better than my camera sometimes. And that's a really good way to start. I'd definitely recommend like maybe trying a few videos with your phone or what you already have before really investing in the bigger stuff, just to know that this is what you want to do. Some good practices in video production, having good lighting. And that could just be as simple as natural lighting. This lighting right here, for example, is beautiful. This is gorgeous. That'd be a great place to film. Like, I don't film in parking garages anymore, but you can see down here I used to, and it was not my best choice. Making sure you are in frame and in focus, so just a quick check before you record that you're not all fuzzy, that the top of your head isn't cut off. Checking for clutter in the background. For my tutorials, I do clean the craft room before I go, because I noticed that the huge mess in the background was distracting. I made it a bit harder for people to watch. And reducing background noise as well. I don't do laundry when I film because my washer and dryer share a wall with my filming space. So I just take a day and I don't do laundry because of that background noise. And then having clear and easy to understand audio or subtitles so that people can like understand what's going on. That leads into some accessibility that I would recommend having for videos. Accessibility, when you hear that word, you would think of, you want to have like captions for people that are hard of hearing, you want to have like image descriptions for people who have low vision, but it actually affects a way bigger audience than you think. Nowadays, a lot of people are watching, especially the shorts, with the sound off. Because if you're in public and you just want to watch a 1-minute video, you're not going to like pull out the headphones necessarily. I am someone who watches shorts with the sound off, so it does affect a much bigger audience than you would think. Now, YouTube does provide auto-generated captions, and at a minimum, those should be reviewed. So for example, before the wheelchair, I had forearm crutches, and I made covers for my crutches, and the YouTube auto captions were crotch covers, which is a different thing than a crutch cover. So I would recommend at least checking that it's right. If you want to go like the extra mile, I use a professional captioning service. I use rev.com, though there's a lot of other options, and I have them professionally captioned. It's like $5, $10 per video. You can also manually type in your own captions, which takes forever, but I do it for the short stuff, like the 1-minute videos. A few things to consider. So phrasing, is your caption cut off in a weird place? So here's the example. I have automatic captions, and you can see here it says, I've decided I'm, and then the next line of captions says doing stash busting builds, whereas professional captions, I've decided I'm doing stash busting builds all summer long. So that sort of phrasing can go a really long way in helping people understand captions. You also might want to add additional info, like if there's music playing in the background, or if something falls over off screen and that's important to the video, you might want to add that in parentheses in the captions. And if there's more than one speaker, showing who is speaking each line. The other thing I want to talk about is image descriptions. So this is describing, for posts, I actually type it out, describing what the image says. This image says, new achievement, 5,000 subscribers, and then I wrote out that on the post so people could read it with a screen reader or enlarge it. But this is another thing, it's a much bigger group of people than you think. There are a lot of people who tell me they watch my videos while they're sewing, while they're doing chores. They don't have their eyes glued to the screen the whole time. So it can also go a long way to explain something that's happening visually. So for example, if I'm doing a cosplay build, it's really important to understand what I'm making. So if there's an image of a character, I will say out loud, today we're going to be making like a fitted bodice and this like long flowy skirt. And that can go a long way for people who are just listening in to understand. And also for like fonts, just consider like making them big enough, and some cursive fonts are just hard for everyone to read. So just make sure someone else can read, and again, you can get some help from friends, family, have people double check your work before you post it. Let's talk about copyright. I am just going to talk about music copyright because that's something that's pretty clear in YouTube's system, and we only have 45 minutes. Back in ye old days, when I started YouTube, I would just upload a video and like wait to see if I got a notification saying the music was copyrighted. Like that was the system. You would just throw it out there, and a lot of times music would say it was copyright free, but by the time you posted your video, someone had claimed the copyright, and it was incredibly stressful. I had a lot of fear that I'd get copyright strikes and my channel would get like completely taken down. I wouldn't be able to do YouTube anymore, and thankfully we've come a long way. You're gonna be fine. On all of your videos in your YouTube studio, they have a tab that says copyright, and you can check it any time and it'll give you a little overview. So this one says no copyright issues were found, this video is fine, you can monetize it, your channel isn't affected. I love seeing those words, it's easy for you to understand. Here's how it will look if you are using copyright-free audio. So here's the songs I used, they're copyright-free. YouTube says, hey, I see that this is licensed globally and doesn't expire. Your channel isn't affected, no copyright issues. And YouTube will actually show this as you're uploading the video. Like when you hit upload, it will do the checks and it will do this for you before it goes live. Because I remembered back in the old days, I would post a video and people would watch it and I'd be like, JK, I have to take this down and repost it with a different audio because I got this email from YouTube saying it had issues. So now you know right away. YouTube will tell you as you're uploading it. Here's how it looks for shorts. Shorts work a little bit differently, where they have a library of music you can choose from, usually trendy music, just like TikTok, just like Instagram Reels. From their library, you can still be monetized. It depends on the copyright holder, but most of the time they will just split the ad revenue to whoever owns the music, and it will work that way. So here's a short. I used a Katy Perry song. I am not Katy Perry, but they said that's fine. It's copyrighted content, but your channel's not affected and you can monetize. Here's a few other things you could see that might scare you at first, but are also fine. Some music is not available in all territories. So I used a Taylor Swift song, and there are some countries where you cannot listen to this Taylor Swift song. Don't really know why, but it will tell you. Videos blocked in some territories, and it will also say up here, your channel isn't affected, just some people can't watch it. So even if you see this yellow, you're still good to go, it's not a copyright strike. Here's how it looks when your video is demonetized for copyright. So I do cosplay lip syncs where I dance and lip sync to popular music. So I kind of need that popular music in the video to lip sync to, and those videos are just always going to be demonetized. So it'll show up like this. It's like, hey, it doesn't affect your channel. It's not a copyright strike. We're not taking your channel away from you, but you can't be monetized. So you can't be monetized. You're not Meghan Trainor. And if you really want to know more, it'll tell you what period of time it found it. So if you're like recording out here and they're playing popular music over the speakers and you're worried, it'll tell you like if it detects it in that timestamp. And if you felt like it was done incorrectly, you could take action. So as far as music and sound copyright goes, I feel like YouTube is really good at communicating how that's going to affect your channel. And I actually like to get all my copyright-free music from the YouTube audio library. There are a lot of options. Just Google copyright-free music, you will be overwhelmed. There's a lot of choices, but I like this because this is stuff that YouTube says is copyright-free. Because sometimes something will say it's copyright-free, but then someone else swooped in and claimed the copyright. So at least with audio library, you know. YouTube says, like, this is fine. So they have a whole bunch of tracks there. I just use the free ones, but you can also pay money if you want to buy a license or revenue share if you'd like. And again, really excellent communication. When you download your license, YouTube will tell you exactly what to do with it. So it says, hey, you can upload the license and say that you're using this. You'll be protected from copyright claims. Use it as you want. You can monetize. This is great. Just don't burn a CD and sell it on the street corner and you'll be fine. So I just love that communication. Really puts my nerves at ease. Let's talk about money. Let's talk about money from YouTube. First of all, it is pretty hard to get into the YouTube Partner Program to start making money. You don't make your first penny until you get into this program. And it requires 1,000 subscribers. It's pretty clear cut. And you also need 4,000 public watch hours within a 365-day period. And that's watch hours of time, 4,000 hours. Or they recently added 10 million valid YouTube shorts, and a 90-day rolling period is another option as well if you just like do shorts. This took me 5 years to reach. I made over 200 long form videos in that time. And like I said, I started from nothing. My first videos are really bad, but it takes a while. So I would not go into it thinking you'll make money on your very first video. It takes some time to meet these requirements. But when you do, you're accepted into the YouTube Partner Program. And if you've watched YouTube, you're aware that they run ads. So you have the main ones in the video that you have to skip through, and then you have the 2 smaller ones on the side. All of those generate revenue for the creator. The thing is, YouTube can run ads before you're in the partner program. So you could start a channel tomorrow, it could have ads, and YouTube just takes the money. I wasn't super motivated to make money from YouTube because I enjoy making videos, it's whatever. But what really motivated me was the idea that they would still run ads and YouTube would take the money. How dare they? That really pushed me to get monetized. And when you're in the partner program, you can also control things like how many ads and what type of ads. If you do not want any horror film ads ever playing on your channel, you can control that when you're in the partner program. And let's talk about how much money I could make on a video. Just to let you know, this is my highest performing video. Most of my videos make $5 or less, but that makes these percentages kind of useless when you have so few numbers. So this is my highest performing long form video. It's made me $155. Wow, that looks like a really tasty number for making one video. But then it tells you how much you make for 1,000 views, and it's $1.29. So 1,000 people, basically all the people in the convention center right now, I'm guessing, you could get $1.29 if every one of them watched your video. And this has 121,000 views, which is how I got the money. And it depends per video. Different videos will pay more if they're longer, you have more ads, shorter, whatever. But just to give an idea of what a video could pay if you're like me, a regular person doing YouTube as a hobby. I also want to talk about ads for short form videos. So these are ones that just appear in your feeds. When you're scrolling, you'll see 5, and then you'll have an ad that pops in. The way this works is that you will share the AdSense with everybody else. So if you had 5 reels and then an ad, that AdSense would go to those 5 creators. It'd be split. And then, as I said, depending on if you're using copyrighted music and who owns it, it could be split again. To pay the artist. So again, I'm taking my highest performing video. This is that 3 million view video of me playing with dolls. So this made $560 for a 1-minute video. Wow, that's amazing. That's pretty good. But then you look down here, 1,000 views is 19 cents. So imagine you got everyone in this convention center together right now and you would get 19 cents. It can add up if you are getting millions of views. But if you're like me and most videos are getting like 100, 1,000, it's not as much. So that's kind of what it looks like on the back end as with someone with my type of channel. And here's how much I make in a year from AdSense. So last year I made 1,250 and it was 6.2 million views over that year. I hate to be that like downer with the reality check, but this is not quit your job money. I can think of very few bills I could pay for $100 a month. However, the good news, this is a really nice budget for cosplay fabric. I can buy a lot of cosplay fabric with this. I can buy a lot of wigs. This is a very nice wig. I could buy this with AdSense. And I think that that's a really good goal, is to just make enough that it pays for your hobby. Because who doesn't want to have a hobby that pays for itself? So I think that is a really good goal to have. Then you're not going to be disappointed when you don't have $1 million at the end of the year. There are other ways you can monetize if you're really serious on like making money. So you can do memberships. It's like Patreon for YouTube. People can give you gifts. You can do like, you know, the highlighted chats where people pay you. So there are other options if you really do want to try and like increase your earnings. There's also money you can make outside of YouTube, like brand deals, or I'm guesting at a con today, you know, sometimes gigs like that can pay. So there are other options, but overall, for regular hobbyist people, it's not a huge amount of money. The other thing you got to consider is you need to follow the rules if you want to make money from AdSense. There are a number of things YouTube will demonetize for, and that's why you will see YouTubers, you know, maybe bleeping out cuss words and such in their videos because they want them to stay monetized so they can make that money. And also just something to consider if you like have a passion to do a type of content that might fit under these categories, maybe YouTube just isn't the right platform for you and it wouldn't give you a lot of joy. A few final reminders: pay your taxes. So I see so many people being like, oh, I only made this much from YouTube, I don't have to pay taxes. It is an income. It is an income, and you do get a tax form when you sign up, and they will show you how much your royalties are. So I didn't actually ever see that 1,200 from last year. I had to pay taxes. That's what you have to do. So please pay your taxes so you do not get in trouble. Also, AdSense income can be unpredictable. There'll be like 1 month I get like $300 because I posted that video of me playing with dolls that 3 million people watched. And I'll be like, wow, this is great. I don't know, I should like do something. Maybe I could cut back my hours of work. I could like, whoa. And then I'll make $0 for the next 5 months. So that's just something to consider. Please don't use this for your bills. I've seen way too many people be like, I used AdSense for my phone bill, and then I had a video do bad, and now I can't afford my bills. So would definitely avoid that if possible. And then of course, like, this is fun, guys. You're supposed to have a good time. You can take breaks. I've taken entire months off from posting on YouTube. YouTube did not incinerate my channel. I was still able to come back and post and be fine. You can take breaks. You can try new things. You can experiment outside your niche and play with dolls. It's okay. Like, if you're having fun, I'd say you're doing it correctly. So are there any questions for me out there in the audience? Yes?
You're a disabled YouTuber. Are you unique? Are there others?
There are a lot of disabled people who post. Like, chronic illness can be a niche in its own. People who make costumes for wheelchairs is a bit more niche. We do have some nonprofits actually in the area here who do disabled costumes for kids. So magic wheelchairs in the area. So there are people who do it. Making wheelchair costumes for dolls was something that I don't think anyone's done before because it's just so out there. But there's an audience for it that wants costumes for dolls.
When you have like a copyrighted song, can you give like credit to the person who made that song? And like, will it still be copyrighted?
So this is something YouTube will actually do automatically. If it can recognize the song, it will put it in the description at the bottom. And it will just really depend on who owns the copyright. So some people, it's like, hey, you can still use my music, but you're demonetized. There's some people who are like, hey, you just can't use this music, you need to mute it. I definitely recommend checking before you post the video that the music will go through. If I do a lip sync, I always do like a practice upload to make sure like I know how it's gonna be treated. Yeah, YouTube will know if it's a popular song, or you know, if it's small enough it might not notice. Like, I've done a few shorts audios where I will just say something and it's funny enough that people like make videos off of it. So I don't make money off of that or anything, but like that's an example of like an audio you could use where you'd still get the full monetization, because I do not have a copyright on that funny little thing I said.
Are you on TikTok?
I used to be on TikTok back in ye old 2020. I think we were all on TikTok. So I did TikTok for a little while because everyone was doing it. I left just because it's hard to keep up with a lot of social medias. Even if you are reposting, you still have to moderate comments. And that was something that was taking up a lot of time. I'd be getting like sometimes hundreds of comments a day across platforms, and I work a job, so I'd like get off work and it'd be like, you have 200 comments. It was very stressful. So I ended up leaving TikTok, but I still do YouTube and Instagram. I am colleen.cosplay on YouTube and on Instagram. Any other questions? Awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming out.